and all the members and all the subscribers and everything. Just wanted to say what's up to you guys. Um, I just got a new phone, and I'm hoping to go live a lot more frequently. And I'm just looking to see if I could get some feedback from you guys who always seem to join me in the mornings. And I'm gonna give you guys a quick couple of updates as I take this long, arduous journey to work, which I might be going live tomorrow on my way to work because I plan on riding my one wheel. It's right there. So you guys know what's up. Some of you guys have seen me do that before, but I roughly work about 12, 13 miles away from the house. So it's a pretty long ride for the one wheel, but we're going to do it. So I haven't been very active on any social media at all in the past week because I actually been kind of sick, y'all. I got a not real sick, but I got an ear ache infection that turned into a complete deafness for days at a time, and it just sucked away my will to want to do anything. And now we're getting I'm getting over the hump. The ear's getting better, and I've been getting active again as far as like everything we're going to do. So we're going to pick up right where we left off with the members. Thank you guys for joining. I see a couple of you guys in here. Let me know how this live stream looks. How does it sound? What's the new iPhone 15? I got the Pro Max version. What's it all about? Can you guys tell any difference? I gotta say, like, I'm looking at this front-facing camera, and to me, it definitely looks a little bit better. But I don't want to say disappointed, but there was nothing really special about it coming from the 13. I just figured it had been a couple of years. Phone was getting beat up, so I would try something different and see how it goes. So let me know what it sounds like. If you guys been tuning in regularly, can you spot a difference? And where are we tuning in from this morning? I was doing some soul searching, thinking about cutting hair a little bit faster, doing things a little bit different, and I managed to get back into the gym, which is really even though I'm still sort of deaf in one ear, it's really got my outlook on just about everything like tenfold up. And then the other side of this health journey is, for the first time ever, I've decided to just quit drinking entirely. I was never really drinking like too much, but I was drinking like 1-2 beers every night, a little more on the weekends. I don't know how I fell into that pattern, but I watched a YouTube video that really inspired me to get out of it. And since then, I've noticed that I'm sleeping much better. I'm recovering from my workouts much better. My mental clarity is much higher. I wake up just feeling kind of ready to go. And I guess it's something that, like, alcohol kind of grabs you at a younger age, and you just kind of indulge in it. And for a while, it was weed a long time ago. I quit smoking weed something like 5-6 years ago. But these things, man, grab you, they get a hold of you, and you don't even really notice the effect of it anymore. And it winds up just kind of breaking you down mentally. And I just decided that I've had enough of this. When I sit down and create scripts and YouTube videos, and I have to think my way through edits and stuff like this, like, I need my mind working sharp. I need to be able to, if I decide to go out and do something for a little while, when I come home, I want to be able to get right after it. So my gym performance has been better, and honestly, like, I'm seeing like a much healthier, just in the mirror and looking in the mirror and just in pictures and stuff like that. Like, I'm noticing that my skin's already looking better, and my body is already reacting better to the workouts because it's not taking in that sugar and all that other stuff. So let me know, man, if you guys are being honest with yourself. Are you drinking on the weekends, a beer a day, a beer at night, things like this, man? This stuff tends to kind of adds up. He said it's a little pixelated, and he's in here from Pueblo, Colorado. I didn't even know there was a Pueblo, Colorado. So thanks for the comment, man. I appreciate you for contributing. Nobody else is. So, I just figured I'd give you guys a little update. So, and as far as like all this stuff, how it's impacting my productivity, I would say that my productivity, what up, J Beats and Waves? My productivity is moving up. I definitely find myself more comfortable, more willing, more happy to go and do things. So now there comes the other side of alcohol, which I'm running into, where it's now been about, I don't know, maybe 14 days or something since and I have no desire to drink at all, like none. I could care less about it. But I'm already running into people and things where they're kind of like, hey, let's go out and have a couple of drinks and stuff like that. And what I noticed, one of the big takeaways from that video was, you will, how many of you guys have went out to a bar when you were sober and seen people who were really drunk and they're having a good time with one another because each one of them are drunk, but you could never really have a good time with those people because you're not drinking. So they're starting to function on like a lower level, a lower IQ level, and where they're finding things that are just absolutely not funny, and they're finding things that are not exciting, like just sitting on a stool exciting. And unless you lower your IQ to that, it's very difficult to have fun with those people, right? So I'm running into that situation now where, some of those things I have no interest in doing, and I don't have fun doing them. I've been actually having a lot more fun with everything else that I'm trying to do. So he said, Solistis, Nineful, Mr. Sunshine, look good, sound great all the time. Baltimore, what's going on? Baltimore, Maryland is where I got my first fake ID. Uh, in Canada, in Toronto, specifically on Yonge Street, there is a place that sells fake IDs to minors, and that's where I got mine. And I said I was from Baltimore, Maryland. Never been there, but the ID looked good, and it worked. It worked fine. It worked fine for years. So that was one of them things, man. When that video brought up that portion about how you would almost have to essentially lower your IQ to where those other people are at in the bar and in their drinking to be able to kind of have fun with them, to be on their level, that just seemed like something that I don't want to do. Because I think we've all seen somebody get, we've all seen somebody get a little too out of hand. And it really wasn't even so much that for me, it was just the accumulation of that. And what does that do to you mentally? Mentally, I would sit down at my computer sometimes and just nothing would happen. I would sit down to get things done. I'm like, I got to get this video done. I got to get this. I got this concept in my mind. I got all these things, right? And I would sit down, start moving the mouse around, and I would start like studying things that are completely irrelevant, like stuff that I need to set aside time for learning. That's my problem. I'm like extremely curious, right? So I've been looking into live streaming. Next thing you know, like I've went down the tangent of a million other things, and I've not gotten anything done. So I think the next thing I need to do with all this iron willpower that I'm starting to find is I need to set up a schedule of time that I do specific things during those times. So that means that I can actually stay organized and have a life and not be like, oh my God, it's midnight, I got to get this done. That's what I'm talking about. A content schedule, just a schedule for learning, a schedule for certain things. Because if I can give myself that time, I could say, okay, I don't have to study this right now. I can do that at 10 p.m. when I set aside that time for myself. And I hope that maybe somebody's sitting there and they don't want to contribute or whatever, but I hope that maybe somebody's sitting there and they're a little bit inspired by this, and maybe you guys give it a try. And obviously I'm mainly talking about alcohol, but all of these things, whether it's alcohol, whether it's weed, whether it's some other type of drug, all of these things are going to have an impact on your mental clarity. They're going to have an impact on your will. They're going to have an impact on your mental health and your physical body as well. So despite what other people say, oh, it's good to drink, oh, it's good to smoke, oh, I get more done, like all these things are lies and you know it. In fact, all of those things kind of steal time and valuable mental resource and physical ability away from you. And, I think as I get older, this is why you have these thoughts when you get older. This is why you talk to older people who've already been there and done all those things. I try to tell my son things for the very reason that I don't want him to make these mistakes that I made in my life. I'm trying to save him the trouble of some of these mistakes. And I talk to young men in my chair and people who will, you know, openly admit to me that they commit crimes or that they do things because, maybe they look up to me. I'm a little bit older. I've been through a few things, and they think that maybe I will find that cool. And I always try to inspire all these younger people in my chair. I tell these people these things because I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it inside of my own family. I've seen it inside of my own friend groups. I've seen what serious drug use can do to people. And I've seen what these little buddings of things that they do in their middle school and their high school, and then afterwards, how that kind of snowballs, that momentum kind of snowballs. And it's just like there was a guy on the Guinness World Records channel one time. He was balancing a washing machine on his chin and walking around, right? And I thought to myself, when I first seen that, I thought to myself, how in the hell did this guy get this in his mind to put a washing machine on his chin and walk around, right? Hang on, I'm going somewhere. The thing is this guy didn't start with a washing machine. He started with little things. He began balancing and building the strength in the muscles. And then one day it led to that washing machine. This is the same thing. You can build momentum in your life in any direction. So let's say you start out doing some kind of small I'm driving by the high school right now. There's a kid in there who's starting out by doing some small drugs that he sees other people do, and he doesn't see a problem with it. But what he doesn't realize is that today's little rush that you got off of that, it's not going to last, and you're going to wind up seeking out bigger rushes and bigger things. And before long, it's not going to be you in control of this situation anymore. And a lot of these people that you looked up to in high school, or the older people who are doing things around your neighborhood, who you were like, man, I wish I was more like him. He's so cool. He's got this. He's got that. A lot of these people, when they go further down the line in life, they become losers. They become total losers. As cool as they were in high school, as cool as they were in middle school, as cool as they were when you were looking up to them, you know what's cool? What's cool is when you have kids that you provide for, that you have a family that you can afford to take care of, that you set up a lifestyle that is enjoyable to you, and you don't live in your mother's basement. Or you don't live on government assistance because you've been able to get yourself up out of that stuff. I could have very easily became a welfare case. Believe me, if you knew my whole story, you would know this, that I came from something that was a very, very broken neighborhood. I could have easily made my decision when I hit that fork in the road to say, you know what, I'm going to be like them. But if I chose to make that left at the fork in the road, I would have been just like everybody else. And all the people that I was watching growing up, and I'm talking about my parents, I'm talking about the people who were directly in my line of view. A lot of the stuff that they were doing, I learned from as I don't want to do that. I don't want to be so broke that I can't afford to buy my son something, or that I can't afford to buy my daughter something. That's what's cool. Being able to be present in your family's life, being able to do all of those things. That's what's actually cool. But the high school kid and the younger people, they're buying into all this nonsense. Oh, it's cool to smoke weed. Oh, it's cool to drink. Oh, it's cool to be part of this, this in crowd. It's cool to do things that maybe impress my peers and all this other stuff. But it takes that's why I really look up to these people who go to college, and these people who are valedictorians, and these people who studied, because they sacrificed. Of course they wanted to be cool. Of course they wanted to fit in. Of course they wanted to do all that stuff. But they were strong enough mentally to realize that I don't need all that stuff. I don't need all that stuff. I'll get it my way. And when they did, when they got out of high school, when they got out of college, and when they got a good job, and then they started that business, you know what? All those losers probably came around trying to hit them up. Hey man, you got a lot of money. Hey man, I want to get a job. Hey man, I want this, I want that. Because that's what happens. And that's the funny part about this whole big circle of life. So It's like the more I think about these things, the more I want to try to be a voice that that points out to people that that's just something that you don't want to fall into. That's just something that you want to steer clear of, because at the end of the day, when those people are losers, you won't be one of them if you can do that. And I see, where I live, it's Naples, Florida. This is one of the richest places on earth, and you wouldn't think that they have these problems, but the drug problems in these schools is definitely pretty high. And when I first moved here, I thought, how could they possibly have drug problems? A lot of their parents are rich. They drive. I mean, if I was to pan this camera around, you would see probably two Mercedes. And if I kept that camera rolling, you'd probably see a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, or something like that. A lot of people have wealth here. How would they have these problems? And the reason they have these problems is because they have the money to actually support these drug habits. And for them, it's nothing. Shoot, we'd have did more drugs. We just couldn't afford them, you know? So when you get right down to it, if they're not watching their parents do that stuff and they're fighting with their parents and stuff like that, they wind up finding those outlets in other ways, you know? So shout out if you're feeling what I'm talking about, if you can relate, if you have any insight that you want to add to this. But, that's kind of where my mind's been at these past couple of days. And I just feel like, the working out, the eating a little healthier, the just having that active lifestyle too. I think that it makes it a lot harder for you to even want to do any of the negative stuff, because you start building that positive momentum. And I've talked about that before. It's like sometimes when you work out, you do a really hard workout. Normally, you may have just like got something terrible to eat in the morning. Maybe you ate like pancakes or syrup and some other sugary stuff that made you crash in like an hour. But when you work out, that's that one good decision that you made that kind of begets the next, where you're like, you know what? I just did one hell of a workout, man. I'm not going to go eat a bunch of donuts and drink a sugary coffee and do all these other things. I'm going to actually make a better choice with what I eat next, because I want that positive momentum that I built in the gym to continue. And then it goes a step further. You're like, hey, I'm not busy at the barbershop. What do I do? Okay, now I maybe got some energy to go hand out some cards, join a community organization, do some type of charity work, um, do some posting, make some videos, do some things that will actually bring clients to you. And that's the thing. Instead of sitting around and waiting for life to happen for you, you can go out and get it. I mean, I'm not gonna mention who this person is in my life, but I have someone in my life that I know, that's just, this guy could have had any girl he wanted. This guy could have done anything he wanted. He's just beautiful guy, really great personality, everything, but lacked motivation to really do anything. And he just took whatever relationship came his way, whatever job came his way, had all the talent in the world at a couple of different sports that I won't mention. But this guy literally had everything there was going for him in life, but he didn't have the ability to take that step and go get what he wanted. He would sort of wait for life to happen, and good things happen and bad things happen, but all the same, he wasn't really in total control of his destiny because of whatever reasons. And some of you guys are afraid to hand out cards. Some of you guys are afraid to post because you feel like your work don't stack up, or you feel like maybe you couldn't um, maybe you couldn't do what you see somebody like me doing, or maybe you look up to other people on social media and you're like, yeah, but my cuts don't look like theirs, but my personality's not like theirs. I don't have the energy to do those things. And examine to yourself, why don't you have the energy? I think we covered that pretty clearly, where if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating right, if you're not trying to work out, if you're not building that momentum, you're not going to have the energy to go do these things. That's one. And then the second part of it is your anxieties. You can't get over your anxieties to go talk to people, to hand out cards, to make meaningful connections. And, you have to examine some of the reasons why. Do you fear rejection? Are you afraid that somebody's just going to tell you no? I mean, really, it's a numbers game. I'm driving to work. I've probably passed 2,000 cars, right? That's 2,000 people that are going to work. Some of these cars have more than one person in them. Um, in front of your business, I don't know if you've ever looked at how many people drive by your business or how many people walk by your business, but it's probably tens of thousands a day that drive by in cars, and hundreds, if not thousands, that walk by on foot, depending on where you are. So these people are out there and they don't know who you are. You could have the best product in the world. You could literally be the best barber in the world, but they don't got a chance to know you because you haven't made yourself visible. And at the same time, you have to find ways to challenge yourself. You have to find those ways to step a little bit out of your comfort zone and make it a point to do so, because sitting back and waiting for life to happen for you, uh, it's going to happen, but it might not happen in the way that you want it to, or you hope it to. So make your own luck. That's really what it is. And when you decide to set a schedule, I don't know if you guys seen that little video I did where I was pretty much giving you guys good advice cloaked in bad advice. I said the first thing you want to do is set a schedule. This is going to be important for the next step. 5 ways to go broke. A guaranteed approach to go broke as a barber. And I was just saying that set a schedule and then make sure that you deviate from your schedule as much as possible. This way, when a new client comes in trying to look for somebody to give money to every 2 weeks, it won't be you. Now, if you listen to that video and you do the direct opposite of everything you heard in that video, it would actually be good advice, right? Set a schedule and stick to it so that when a client comes in looking for somebody to give money to every 2 weeks, it will be you. And there were several other things that I covered in there that definitely you could do, you could take to heart, and you can make happen. So at the end of the day, I think we all need to stop being a little bit afraid, and we need to start going out and trying to get the things that we want. If you're not getting the clients you want, if you're not getting the hair types you want, there's so many ways, especially now, that you can do that. I've been doing this since 2003. That's 20 years. And 20 years ago, we didn't use social media. We carried a actual portfolio of work that was photos that we got printed and handed out business cards, and we still got it done, right? So with all these new kind of modern things that we have that make everything so much easier, are we utilizing them? Are we actually using them? And are we finding ways to grow? So another thing that I'm rocking on is Stylecraft has kind of started our barber groups on Facebook. Actually, hold up, backing into a parking spot. Men always back in. Men always back in. I can tell which men drove, and whenever they got a truck, you'll always see it backed in too. Hold up, let me get out of the sun because it's kind of blinding me. But yeah, so we got this new Facebook group, and it's I'm gonna wind up linking it in my videos here soon. It's a public group, and for our educators, we actually have a private group. But for the public group, we wanted to start using that to kind of share stories, share things that are helping us be successful, share little modifications to our tool. All right, I'm not sure if you guys are still with me. Give me a comment real quick because my service is deciding to act up here. But just walking in right now. Drop a comment right below if you guys can still hear me, if you guys can still see me. I'm not sure what that's all about. I got 5G, 9 bars, and we're trying to make it happen a little bit. So, okay, everybody's back. Kevin P, thank you for being a member, man. I appreciate that. And always good to see all of you guys this morning. So all I'm saying, you guys, is if we start building that positive momentum, just to wrap it up, you can build momentum in any direction, negative or positive. So let's make it a point to make it a positive momentum that we're building. Because let's think about it this way. Let's say I eat pizza today and garbage food the next couple of days. When I decide that, I should eat healthy, I'll say, yeah, but I've been eating like shit anyways. What's the difference? I could eat this pie. I could eat this. I could skip that workout. I could do all these things, right? But that's because I built that negative momentum in that direction. Whereas if I had built it the other way, I would say, nah, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to eat all that sugar because
I just worked out really hard this morning, and that would be working in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? So let's try to find ways to build that positive momentum and get it growing in the direction that we want. Whether it's finding clients, whether it's finding good health, whether it's finding, good mental clarity, whether it's finding your way away from, some drugs or some alcohol or whatever the problem is that you're struggling with. Let's find that momentum and start making those good changes, man. I hope I inspired somebody. If I did, leave it in the comments. And soon, I got a ton of content coming your way. I'm just finishing up one project, and I'll be right back at it with you guys. All right? This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Lee Barber, and I'm out of here. Peace.